So tonight I want to talk to your community about creating systems, and I have titled it Stop Building Businesses and Start Creating Systems. And it's probably coming on time because of the conversations I've heard in your team about the amazing things that you are doing. So I'm currently working with, I have a mentorship group, about 360 people from all over the world. Most of them are from North America and Europe. I have a couple of people from the Caribbean and quite a number of people from UAE, from different walks of life. And they are all in the later half of their lives. In other words, from 35, we have the oldest there in the group is 76. She's going to be 77 in November. And one thing is common with these people. Even though they live in America, they live in Europe, they live in African countries. We have people from Cameroon, from Ghana, from Nigeria, even from places like Sudan and South Africa. And then one common thing is these people are struggling with money. Some of them were business owners. Some of them are business owners. Some of them are professionals. Many of them are in 9 to 5. And after studying this demographic for a while, and then also my experience over the years working with small businesses, I came to a very shocking realization that the reason most people in later half of their lives struggle is because they don't have systems. So for the first 40 years of our lives, we basically were running the treadmill, practicing the things that we were taught in school, and also what we saw other people doing. I have a 55-year-old who said, I have worked for over 30 years of my life, and when I look back, I can't say where all the money went. And then another 57-year-old says he doesn't have any asset to his name, not even one stock. And he looks back, he still can't say where all the money went. So the common and most shocking diagnostic I have come to, and then over the past couple of weeks, I've been screaming all over the social media, stop creating businesses, especially if you're over 40. Start creating systems. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But I want us to do some quick exercise. If you disappeared today from your business, no phone, no laptop, no warning, you disappear from your business or from your job, maybe you have to take like 12-month vacation or something, how many days would your business survive, not stall, without you? So I want to see some responses in the chat section. So I usually enjoy participation. I am a trained coach and I practice coaching, so I enjoy engagement, and that helps me to fill the room as well and to tailor what I'm sharing with you on the fly. Just let's have that survey. So I want to share some ideas that will help you change that today, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. Because like James Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And you see, that's why many of us start up with very excellent ideas and dreams. Okay, so we want to build a microfinance bank, we want to build the agri sector, the oil and gas sector, we want to build wealth in all these areas. But at the end of it, the limiting factor is your systems. Your dream can never exceed the systems and structures that you put to it. Are you beginning to see why systems should be a major conversation in your community and also in your family, in your personal life? Time fails me to tell what would have happened this exactly 13 years ago when I miraculously escaped the Dana crash. My name was in that manifest. Last minute, I decided to go see my son, who at the time was schooling in Loyola, Abuja. And I said, move my name from that money first and put it in the other one, put it in the last flight of Dana, the same Dana. And it was the one that crashed in the afternoon that would have come back to take me and other people. So I've had like 13 years of extra time. And then within that time, this also was a very huge realization for me, because what frightened me the most was not death. I'm ready. I've been ready ever since. Like Paul, it's actually, for me, to die is better, because the glory over there sometimes is, the pool is too much. It's too much that sometimes I'm alone worshiping and I'm almost seeing myself going. And I'm like, okay, no, I still need to be here, I have some work to do. So it wasn't death that scared me. It was the situation, the condition I would have left my wife and my young children if I had died that first weekend in June of 2012. At that time, I couldn't pay rent because I had left Shell and lost over $100,000 in savings, to non-spetco and well zone. And things were bad. I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't pay the children's school fees. We were struggling real bad at that time. And that was the day. That was the very time that I would have gone. I just shudder to imagine what would have happened to, that poor girl and the very little children. So the dreams that I had for the children, for their education, for their impact in the world, those would have gone to ashes. Why? I had no system. It wasn't even that I didn't have money. I had no system. I had no trust. I had no will. I had no asset. I had a few assets, but there was just no system to it. Everything was random. So always realize that no matter how lofty your goal is, both as a community or in your business or as an individual, you will always fall to the level of the systems that are in place. Okay, so my name is Obo Awoke Obo. I started my career with Shell as remote sensing surveyor, help supporting Shell's seismic acquisition activities, environmental remediations, pipeline, laying, mapping, and things like that using satellite imagery. And from there, Chevron came to poach me and made an offer I couldn't say no to. So I left Shell, went to Chevron. So moved my family from Port Harcourt to Lagos. After 6 years with Chevron, Shell came back and said, okay, we want you back. I asked them, prove it. And they did. So I didn't pray too much. I left Chevron, went back to Shell. Long story, but while I was doing a project for Shell in Rijswijk in the Netherlands, Shell International Office, I had this epiphany that got me to doing what I'm doing today. So I asked myself, oh boy, hey, if you died today, I said, what were the 100 things? If I'm on my deathbed, looking back to my life, what were the 100 things that if I accomplished them, I would die fulfilled? I would say, oh yes, this is a life worth living. So I made a list of 400 things. Anyway, long story short, I found that continuing that job, even though it was a very good job, working with Shell and all the perks, wasn't going to allow me to express the fullness of who I am and then my potential. So I quit Shell, started coaching and consulting. I'm certified executive coach, certified in Sarasota, Florida, 2017. I'm also MBTI practitioner. But I think the highlight of my work and what I do today came from working with Stanford University, working with the Stanford Graduate School of Business in California. Now, I worked as business advisor to the Stanford Seed program, which is an initiative of the Stanford Graduate School of Business to emerging economies around the world. So we have Stanford Seed in East Asia, in South Asia, we have in East Africa, Southern Africa, West Africa. And so just that privilege of working and then sharing platforms with the top Stanford business faculty was just an incredible experience, for me. And that's where I got so much insight into what it takes to make a business scale, including what I'm sharing with you today. I also adjunct at the Lagos Business School, China Europe International Business School as well. where I teach strategy, design thinking, and all that. Okay, so the core idea I want to share tonight is that too many entrepreneurs, business owners, build busyness instead of business. They are two different things. And from the question that I asked you, you can easily tell whether you have a business or you have a business. And then God forbid that you find yourself in that situation that I found myself in June 2012. And then you leave this earth. You go to heaven, all right, not a problem. But then you don't have a system now. Number one, generational wealth is impossible without systems. When I did my executive coaching certification years ago, my mini project was on why some companies, especially in Asia and parts of Europe, last 1,000 years. In fact, I studied one of my case studies was a company in Japan that has lasted 1,400 years, no break. Then there were businesses like Stella Artois, the beer, which is almost 700 years right now in Austria, 700 years. There are hotels in London that are 1,000 years. There are so many businesses in Europe, in Germany, in France, that are 400, 600, 700 years old. The Twinings of London, the tea, I don't know how many of you know Twinings of London. Twinings of London is over 340 years old. And it's a family business. And they are doing profits in the billions. So my brothers and sisters, these people had systems. Generational wealth doesn't just come by prayer and fasting. You must have systems. And you're going to see in a while prayer and fasting won't do it, and systems will do it. Because God is a systems God. And so often in our businesses, we are building activities, not assets. So the purpose of this, I don't know how much time I have, can actually send that to my WhatsApp so that I know how I'm going to pace myself. But this is actually to help reset our minds, from the hustle culture to designing businesses that can run 100, 200 years after we have gone. You've got to think in terms of hundreds of years. But most of us just think about our lifetime. We just want to be able to make enough money, take care of our family, pay school fees, live comfortable. But life is much more than just being comfortable. So that's a core idea. Another very interesting thing and concept that I realized recently, and I've also been popularizing this concept, is that poor people repeat tasks. The major difference between the poor and the rich is systems. Poor people repeat tasks. Wealthy people repeat systems. That's why a McDonald's is not just in one place. McDonald's, I don't know how many tens of thousands their franchises are all over the world today. They repeat systems. Another strange thing is that, the poor people, and when I say poor, I'm not necessarily talking about people who don't have cash. I'm talking about people who don't have systems, who, if you stop working today, you can't maintain that lifestyle, your current lifestyle, for at least another 5 years, you're poor. Sometimes it's just good to tell ourselves the truth. It might not be good. If you can't maintain your current lifestyle, if your income should stop today, if you can't maintain it for 2 years, or even 5 years, because you probably still have children who are in college, if you can't maintain it, you're not wealthy. So poor people wake up to go to work. Wealthy people wake up to check what worked while they were sleeping. Major difference. Major difference. Because one of the things I developed that I'm teaching in my mentorship is everyday money concept. My mentor mentioned it sometime around 2015, 2016. He just mentioned the everyday money, and it caught up to me. I said, wait a minute, that actually makes sense. Because I spend money every day. Paul said, listen, if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. And then Obo says, if you don't earn, you shouldn't spend. And then you look at your bank statement. How many debits do you get a day? Some of us get 7 debits, 6 debits, 5 debits a day, and then we get only one credit in a month. Is that normal? Is that normal? Who wrote that law that you can only earn once a month? Who wrote the law? And then all of us, just by default, sheepishly think, why should we earn money? Or for some of you in the United States, maybe twice in a month. Who wrote that law? Because if you spend money every day, it makes sense that you should earn money every day. So it took me a couple of years to now develop what I call the everyday money concept. Every single day, I earn money in the local currency and I earn money in dollars. Every single day, or in pounds. Every single day without fail. Even if it is $5. It's very, very powerful, but there's something comes in every day because it does something to it does something about rewiring your mind, your mindset about how wealth works. And then the only thing that made it possible for me to earn money every day is the everyday money systems that I put in place. It's taken like maybe 3 years now, but that system is working. Some days $200, some days $90, some days the highest has been $399 days. System. And you know why I'm saying it? Because I wake up sometimes and then truly I check what worked. After my devotion, I check, okay, what worked? And I'm looking at alerts, I'm looking at these systems. So let this thing, even if this is where we're going to stop. I just want you to start thinking in terms of systems. Because I can't see the chat. Put it in the WhatsApp. Let me know how much time I have. If you already have, okay. Oh, I have 15 minutes more. Okay, so which is like 10 minutes now. Okay. So if you want to make money, this is a different kettle of fish altogether. If you want to make money, study money. But if you want to build generational wealth, study consciousness. Time fails me to unpack this, but it's a part of the conversation. God is a systems God. Have you noticed that God has never created one human being since Adam? Even Eve was not created the way Adam was. She was built from his ribs. Do you notice? He just created once. And today we have over 8 billion people on the planet from that one person. Why? Because God is a systems God. Have you noticed that God has never created one more cow? But every day we're eating beef. Never created. It's just that one he created. He's never created one more tomato, one more mango tree, one more apple tree. Never, done that. Why? Because he's a systems God. What did he do? He made everything with its seed in it. The scripture even calls you a seed, calls us seed. So human beings are seed, plants also have seed, and they perpetuate themselves because it's a system God. And that's what system allows you to do. Create once, reap 1,000 times. That's what you should be doing in your business. Not tasks. God is a systems God. You break down his creation. Look at your human body. Feel the systems. Digestive system, respiratory, everything is a system. Circulatory system is a system. Because systems are very powerful. So if you don't have systems in your business, it means you're going to be managing with emotions. It means you're going to be running your business from your head. One of the private clients I'm working with now, very brilliant entrepreneur, extraordinary entrepreneur, very well known in her industry. She's tired, and every day she's complaining, my people. The biggest headache is my people and all that. Okay, so we've been working, and it became very clear to her that she was running the business from her head. She has employees, but she still goes around doing everybody's job because she's the one that has the template and the blueprint of how her business works in her head, and nobody else can get it as well as she can. So because of it, she's always overwhelmed and always complaining, my people are not doing it. Like, how will they do things? Because you don't have a system in place. Then employees will have to rely on you instead of a process. And then if you run a business where employees can't even take initiative, they will always come to ask you. That's what it is, because you don't have systems. And again, what still? The success in your business depends on your mood. your memory, and your availability. That is not a business. That business is going to overwhelm you and drain you. And again, you'll be solving the same problems over and over again because you didn't even so much as just write down a small SOP that anybody from the receptionist to manager can just follow that SOP, get things done, but you don't have it. So you solve the same problem over and over again. Okay, so think in systems, build businesses instead of just buying milk every morning for your family. Buy a cow, and then instead of every time you're going to the stream to fetch water with buckets, build a pipeline connecting the water source to your house. Think systems. If you just have a business, the business needs you every day, but the system works without you. The business you're building, you're working right now, is built around your effort, but the system is built around repeatable processes. I say you should create systems, not businesses. Your business can only grow as fast as you can work. The system grows faster with automation and with people. Okay? In your business, you as the owner, you are the operator, but the system is the architect. Your business has emotion-driven decisions, but the system doesn't have emotions. It's logic and rule-driven. And then the business stops when you die, but the system lives on beyond you. So type in the chat section, which one is better? Are you going to continue building businesses or building systems? Business or systems? Type in the comment section. So what you now do is to separate yourself from the pain. How do you separate yourself from the pain? Just shed that weight. This is what happens when you create systems. So I don't know how many, maybe like 5 minutes or something I have left. Let me just touch a little bit on the how to create system. Let me touch a little bit on doing it in your personal finance, and then also doing it in your business. I'll take you through my 7-step consulting process that I use to help organizations to systemize their business. Now, if you want to systemize your wealth, I have discovered that there are only 3 major skills that you need to build when it comes to creating wealth. 3. The first is the skills to make money. Because if you can't make money, if you don't even have whether it's entrepreneurial skills or investing skills or whatever it is, selling your services skills, whatever. If you can't even make money, the journey can't even begin for you. So you've got to have skills for making money. And unfortunately, many of us, the only skill we know to make money is to go to school, get a good degree, come out, get a job. And that's what many of us are doing. And that's why when you feel that you don't have enough money, what comes to your mind? Oh, let me go and do master's degree. Let me go and do MBA. Let me go and do a PhD. As if when you finish your MBA, you start automatically making money. No. Because money is not made in school. Money is made in selling. Okay, and the number 1 money-making skill is selling. Whatever you do, whatever business or whatever you have, you've got to sell. So the number 1 skill is to make money. Second skill is to manage it. There are a lot of people, you probably know people who make a lot of money, but they can't manage it. They're always out of money. One thing or the other, they're always out of money, but they're very good at making money. Now, making this is not enough. Just saving and budgeting is not enough because inflation is going to wipe out your savings. Cost of living is also going to wipe out your savings. The banks also don't give you good interest. So you need to learn the skill of multiplying money, investment skills. And it makes me sad, when I move around and I see some people in their 40s and 50s who don't have a single portfolio in the financial market, for instance. But that's a digression. Okay, so I've created what I call the universal financial fitness skill. What this does for you is you've got to actually know where you are, first of all, financially in your life. You've got to tell the truth because every transformation starts with truth telling. And so the first thing is to actually know your financial condition. So I have created this scale 0 to 10, 0 being financially desperate to 10, where you are actually building generational wealth, and then all the in-betweens. And then each of them has a strategy. Okay, so if you are 4, for instance, if you find yourself in level 4, living paycheck to paycheck, then there's a strategy for that. You won't use strategy for 4, for 9, or for 1. It's a strategy for that. And then it is this strategy that you're going to turn into a system. I have created also a system because after that Dana crash incident, I said, no, Lord, you've given me this opportunity, like this second chance. I'm just asking for wisdom to put my house in order before that call comes the second time, or before the final one comes. So it was out of that experience that I now created this. This is a system. First thing in the wealth cycle, whether you're building business or you're investing or you're doing your 9 to 5, the very first thing is capital formation. Because if you can't form capital, like you were talking about your microfinance initiative, because you've identified the pain that a lot of people have, they can't raise capital. In the current financial market, in the current financial system, it's a big problem because until people break what I call their capital barrier, you can't progress in the journey of wealth. Of course, you do that, and then of course the next thing is aggressively, creating asset acquisition. Then you scale it up, then you start planning heritage. Okay, let me just finish this. I guess my time is already up. Let me just go through this.
Please continue. Please continue. This is more important than wherever else we're going, trust me.
Okay, this is the last slide though. I can take questions after this. So for your business, there's a 7-step systemization framework, and that's what I'm doing with my private clients, because it just amazes me how many people have no clue. And I was like that, to be honest. I think the Stanford program, my Stanford career, opened my eyes to a lot of things. Because many of us started business. For some of you who may have been familiar with Michael Gerber's E-Myth, I don't know if you've read that. Basically, his thesis was that many people just start a business because, for instance, you cook very well. So he calls you a technician. You cook very well. It's also the same thing with medical practice or dentist or something. So you're a dentist, very well qualified. But that you're a dentist does not automatically imply that you can run a dentist business. That you cook well does not automatically translate that you can run a restaurant business. That you practice medicine. Because I was discussing with a medical school not too long ago. And I said, your doctors are actually suffering and they're not doing well. Because all you teach them in the medical school is medicine, physiology, anatomy, pharmacognosy, all those things. And then they come up, but they have zero knowledge on business. Because what makes money is not what you do. It's not how good you are. What makes money is selling, being able to sell, to communicate the value that you have. After I left Shell and started coaching and consulting, I spent so much time acquiring tools. I took courses and programs on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I did cognitive behavioral therapy. I did learned all kinds of tools, dealt neurological levels. I was acquiring, but I was broke. I wasn't making money with all my qualification as a coach. And whenever I work with people, they were like, wow, where have you been? We want you to come back. But then for them to even discover me, they don't. So it's just accidental. So I learned by accident that what makes money is not coaching. What makes money is being able to sell that coaching service. Because if I can't sell it and get clients, I'm going to be broke. So you have professionals, teachers, language experts, dentists, doctors, lawyers, accountants who are broke. They're very good, well qualified, know their stuff, but they don't know how to communicate their value. They don't know how to, put value out there. Especially in the online world today, where virtually over half of the planet is online. It's a huge market. And then they say, I can't put my face on camera like you do. I'm very shy. I can't put my face on camera. Okay. So manage the hunger now and the struggle. Because the thing is, the three parts to profitability, to whatever you are doing. Now, this framework was not created by me. It was created by a gentleman called Ivan Misner, but I've been teaching it. I follow it. It's powerful. He calls it the VCP process. V stands for visibility. In today's world, visibility is your bank account. If you are not visible, you don't exist. Literally. The people who are making all the profit, just check, even in your area, in your industry, the people who are making all the money are not the best people, but they're the ones that the world is seeing. So visibility is important. You got to be visible to the people whom you're serving, to the audience. If you're not visible, you can't make sales. And if you can't make sales, your business won't do well. The C stands for credibility. And people you have to build some credibility that you deliver. You deliver. A gentleman attended the Financial Fitness Challenge, my mentorship groups, every month. He attended last month. He was so wowed that he lives in Germany, that as soon as he was finishing, he paid for his brother to join. And the people are doing that. It builds credibility that you can deliver on your brand promise. So if you want to systemize your business and just free yourself from pain, the first thing is to define your core identity. Why are you in business? What is this business for? Because your business can never grow beyond the foundation. What's the core identity, the vision, the mission, and the values that you stand for? Because every other thing, all the other steps follow from this. The second step is to now map your business engine. Everything in business has a formula. Your sales and marketing have formulas. Did you know that for you to make $10,000 sales in a month, did you know that there's a formula to it? For you to make $10,000 a month, your business must be visible. I'm just giving an example. To say 100,000 people. And then this 100,000 people, for you to make $10,000, your business is at least impression, like online impression, or you do ads, or it's organic. 100,000 people need to see it. If you study your business and check the metrics, you will find the actual number. And then these 100,000 people, maybe only 30,000 make inquiries or DM you. Usually, like in my YouTube channel, people watch, and there's a certain percentage that would respond and DM. And then out of those people who responded, out of the 30,000 people, maybe only 300 will buy. So there's a formula to it that you need to find out and actually reverse map your business engine. Because if you know the formula, you just know, okay, to make $10,000, I need to make sure that my video sales later or whatever it is seen by 100,000 people. And then 30,000 people make inquiries, and out of that, the conversion is 30,000 to 300. What is that? Is that like 1% or 1% or so? There's a formula to it. So map it. Develop the processes. How does your business create value? How does it deliver value? How does it capture processes? Capture value. That's how you take payment. Don't run it from your head. Many people, many small business owners are running all this from their head. They have employees and they wonder why the employees are not participating, because it's in your head. Step number 3, systemize the work. Break down those processes into tasks. Okay, so like one business owner I'm working with now, so I made her do a process map. That process map is one of the most important assets in your business. How many of you have it? And this is why the multinationals are multinationals. The first day I landed in Shell, Shell gave me a couple of packages as part of their onboarding. One of them, a manual that they call EP manual. I still have that manual somewhere here behind me, because I like talking about it. It actually inspires me a lot. And in that manual, everything, every aspect of Shell's business, all the processes, all the tasks, it will tell you, okay, if you want to acquire seismic, this person generates email. which goes to this department. Then they have this meeting, and it's called a meeting. They generate this output for which goes to this. It's documented. So literally, I can get into Shell today and run that business using the processes and the tasks listed there. The fourth step is now to build policies. What are your financial policies? Could be something like, okay, cash must be deposited in the bank same day. Because I work with an entrepreneur. She had a gas something. She retired from an oil company. She set up a gas whatever. And then her employees ran the place down. Some of the managers used that place to build their own houses. She had to sell that business at a loss. Why? Because these people were selling gas and collecting cash. And so they will collect cash. So if you don't have policies, it's impossible to build systems. Policies that govern even recruitment. Shell has, Chevron has, they all have policies for recruitment. But some of us, small business owner, uncle in the village calls you, hey, Chima, my daughter, your niece, just finished youth service, so, meanwhile, what you run is a petrochemical plant. What did she study? She studied sociology. Anyway, she's my niece. And then you tell HR, oh, that's my niece. No policy. And then you're wondering why the business has problems. Step number, did I jump something? Okay, so then from policies, you establish governance. If you can't set up a board, if you can set up a board of trustees, by heavens, start with advisory board. The boards are so important. Just start with an advisory board. Let somebody have some kind of oversight, and people you can run businesses, and people who can tell you no. And your advisory board is not just your friends. You look at the nature of your business, you look at the systems, you look at all these policies, and then you're asking, what kind of skills and talents and persons should I attract in the board, invite to the board? You might find that you need somebody who is versatile in IT as board member, somebody versatile in finance, somebody versatile in legal, and things like that. And then above all, finally, develop a scorecard, because no system works well until you've defined the KPIs. You've defined what matters in each stage of the processes. And then you actually build a dashboard. And today, technology allows you to even have a dashboard. You can run your company from your mobile phone, because your dashboard can have things like daily sales. It's a threshold. So anytime the daily sale falls below the threshold, whether you're vacationing in Dubai or in Rwanda or Bali, wherever you are, you will get a notification. And then something triggers as a matter of fact. It may be that it will trigger a review meeting. Why did we not? What worked? What didn't work? What do we need to fine tune in the system? Why didn't we meet the sales threshold today? So you need that dashboard that you can use to monitor your business. When you have that, then you can have a complete system in your business.